Hey Dragon Slayers! Today's video is about the important concepts to remember for optimum health. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. Let's get started. So some doctors use tobacco while telling you not to. Others are quite obese but still feel they have the right to tell you to lose weight. Many doctors are unhealthy and unhappy, but they don't think twice about preaching to you about how to be healthy and happy. If your doctor doesn't put their health first, even though they supposedly possess all the knowledge, then why should you listen to them? This is one of the greatest embarrassing questions of modern medicine. How can a doctor have any credibility at all if they do the very things they tell you not to do? Perhaps state medical boards should focus more on this type of bad behavior than on some behaviors they currently give lots of attention to. As Dr. Berry mentioned earlier, one day in 2008, he realized he was fat, unhappy, and unhealthy as a doctor who spent 5 days of his week teaching patients to lose weight and to be healthy. These unpleasant conditions had crept up on him slowly. He was busy with his family, his practice, and community, and he gave little thought to his health and what kind of impression he was making to his patients. He was a former high school athlete who had become so fat that he couldn't breathe while tying his shoes. He obviously had to do something. He'd always been an athlete, so he decided he'd start jogging on the treadmill to get back into shape. He kept eating pretty much as he had been, which was terribly, but he figured he'd burn off any extra calories with the increased exercise. His plan was to burn more calories than he ingested. Of course, in medical school, he had learned that this type of calorie deficit should guarantee weight loss. He started his new regime and was doing pretty well in the exercise department. But after a month, instead of losing weight, he had gained a pound. That was the last straw. Even though no other doctor in his community seemed interested, he had always suspected there was more to nutrition than he had learned in medical school. He was beginning to believe the answer to his weight problem might somehow be connected to his deficiency in knowledge. So, like a good student, he hit the books, he read a couple of the popular low fat diet books, and he wasn't impressed. Then he read the South Beach diet and the Atkins diet. They both seemed to make more sense than the low fat diet books. He kept looking and eventually came across two other books, The Primal Blueprint and The Paleo Diet. These books were about both diet and lifestyle, and they made an incredible amount of sense. He read two more books about the Paleo Primal Diet and spent hours reading and researching studies on PubMed, and read several other books, what seemed to be putting him on the right track. The key concepts he came up with were not new. In fact, they were as old as the human species itself. These ideas were so old and seemingly forgotten that we have had to rediscover them. To many people, they seem to be new or even fad like ideas. Dr. Berry can summarize the concepts with the following statements. Number one, we humans have been on this planet for an incredibly long time. Number two, for 99.99999 infinitely repeating percent of that time, we never, ever ingested grains, sugars, or milk. We never drank fruit juices or high calorie liquids. Number three, we lived mostly on fatty meat and green plants, seeming to prefer the fatty meat when we could catch it. Number four, to get the health, mind, and body we want, we must honor our past way of eating and living and realize that our DNA hasn't had time to catch up with all the starches, sugars and grains we are taught to consume in our modern life. Number 5, your DNA responds to unnecessary sugars and starches by putting them right where you don't want them as adipose tissue in your belly, your butt, and your thighs. And number 6, your body also puts this adipose tissue in your liver, where it can lead to abnormal liver function and severe liver disease. To achieve the health you want and the body and mind that you desire, you have to honor certain things. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. And remember, guys, that together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.